What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Post Pro Podcast. Is
It's
it
episode 32.
32?
Da da da. I don't know.
Yeah, you said
I don't know.
I don't know what that was, man.
22? Is it 22? I think it's 22.
I think it's 22.
We're going to go with 22.
Seems
If
right.
I'm wrong, we'll edit in post because Post Pro Productions. Haha. Full circle.
Ha.
Thomas?
Right? Yeah. Yes.
All right. So, unfortunately, Sebastian's not here. He decided to go to Universal today. But maybe he'll show up. Maybe. Oh well. Movie news. Let's get started. So I saw that Tenet, because we always talk about Tenet.
Yeah.
Made over $200
No, it's Collin. You're saying it wrong. Tenet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Tenet. Look on the right.
So it made
You gotta
$200 million
pronounce
globally.
Yeah, $200 million globally. First week domestically, it made a little over 9 million. Second week, it dropped down to 6.7 million. And Wonder Woman also got pushed. And so the whole big question now is because because Warner Brothers pushed Wonder Woman back after the less than stellar performance of Tenet, what are movie theaters going to do? It's sad to think.
Unless they can legitimately just keep showing classics, I don't think
Honestly,
they
don't know
should
why
probably
they
just
aren't.
close.
I don't.
Yeah, the fact that they aren't is so stupid. I think the
That
classics
is-
program was great.
the re-releases were honestly bringing more attendance than the standard releases are now because it offered more variety and also lesser price.
Well, and also just notable films because no studios and no offense, these indie filmmakers, but those aren't really bringing the people.
Exactly.
And
Tenet
those,
was the only one that has
Right.
garnered any attention, and even that was obviously a failure by most accounts. So
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, everyone who's wanted to see Tenet has already seen it. Everyone who wants to rewatch Tenet has already gone and seen it. So, and then you just have the Broken Hearts Gallery and New Mutants out. No one.
Personal History of David Copperfield.
Have you seen that yet,
is
Thomas?
that out?
No, still no.
Is that in
I just don't really have anyone.
Yeah, it's in theaters.
Yeah, it's in theaters.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I haven't been paying attention. Again,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, but it's kind of a longer watch. So
It was released on VOD a while ago. I'm pretty sure too.
I knew it was released theatrically in the UK. I guess I just didn't know that it was released on VOD. Crazy.
But have no fear because we have Greenland coming out next week. The movie is
Oh,
the
yeah.
Art Butler End of the World movie.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Maybe at least because in the movie it's Central Florida gets killed first. Maybe that'll boost attendance.
Rally the crowd.
They'll be like, yeah, Central Florida dies. Let's go watch Greenland. But oh well. So we'll see what happens. I think the next big movie isn't going to be until either Black Widow, of course, if that doesn't get pushed back, or No Time to Die.
What's Black Widow's release date right now?
November 6th?
Yeah.
November something.
Yeah, so I mean, there's two big movies coming out in November. Just depends if they get pushed back or not.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see. Then another thing I had written down was that's just kind of surprising. Apparently, the numbers for Mulan for Disney Plus subscribers, over 9 million people bought Mulan.
What? That's so
It's definitely
really?
a real statistic and not something they made up.
No,
It's I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to be that much but I guess I underestimate the will to pay $30 for a movie.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess it makes sense because you pay $30 and you could have whole family, rather than paying $15 per ticket going to the movies. So
I was always just hearing that Mulan was flopping hard, though.
well, I mean, it still could. It had a high budget.
Well, 9 million people buying is 270 million. Its budget was 200.
So yeah, I mean, when you put in marketing and
Right
stuff,
now,
they say you need to at least double your production budget.
Yeah. I mean, just when I was looking it up, it says 37.6 million right now.
Oh,
It's
okay.
box office.
Yeah, well,
That's probably international though.
Yeah.
but other than that, that's all I had. So anyone else have some
Um,
mention?
The Batman resumed production. So
Nice.
either our boy Pattinson doesn't have COVID anymore, or they're just filming scenes without him.
Or they replaced him. He's
Or
dead.
they
Replaced him.
Ben Affleck's back. Michael Keaton's playing this Batman.
Could you imagine, like, we're watching,
Yeah.
we're watching the Batman, right, in theaters next year or whenever, and like about midway through the movie, just Robert Pattinson, he's gone. The character is just gone. They're like, oh yeah, that's where
Yeah.
he got COVID.
Oh my god! Just at that point, it just turns into like a fourth wall comedy and just like black screen, white text. At this point, Robert Pattinson got COVID. It's just a Monty Python moment. Yeah, and then the other big thing I had was, you guys see the trial for the Chicago 7 trailer came out. Aaron Sorkin's in the film.
Yeah.
Looks pretty. I think it looks interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I fucking
Let's
hate
check it
this
out.
game. So like,
Huh?
I don't know, man.
Oh wait. Oh, you don't watch trailers.
Yeah, but also I don't like Molly's game. So like,
Oh, you didn't like Molly's game?
Oh,
No, not really.
I thought it was pretty good.
I haven't seen Molly's
It's
game,
been-
but
Yeah.
3 years.
I mean, I think Sorkin's direction is like the main problem with it,
Okay,
for me at least.
sure.
So-
No, you had something you wanted to bring up?
Oh yes, sorry. Sorry. Still looking for a pick. I mean, should I even bring these up? Whatever. Okay,
Yeah,
we've
just
already
bring it up.
wasted enough time on it. All right, so Sarah Snook of Succession fame has been tapped for a new Jane Austen adaptation, Persuasion. I assume none of you really have anything to say about that, but I found that interesting.
never okay. They might feel kind of bad.
Diablo Cody has been tapped to write the new Madonna biopic that Madonna is producing, and maybe something else. Maybe she's like co-writing it or something. I'm not really sure. Didn't actually say the story, but again, I find that interesting because I kind of like Diablo Cody. I assume none of you have anything to say about that. Again,
Nope, don't know what name off the top of my head.
I mean, I know
Yeah,
Cody has, but
Oh, you talk about Diablo Cody a lot too.
well,
Yeah.
really a lot, but yeah.
Well, you've mentioned
right.
it enough, so it's in my this guy. You mentioned enough, so it's in my
This guy.
letterbox search autofills, or this girl. My bad.
Yeah, this girl.
Oh my god. Oh no. All right.
right?
We're there. we're really doing great. All right, I'd say we have Noah go first, since Noah has.
You want me to go
Sure.
first?
Yeah,
What we
we'll
watched
let you-
this week, Noah.
Oh, yeah, Noah
So-
edition.
There are hundreds of films.
Started it off with the half of it, Netflix movie that was released like, I don't know, a couple months ago. Wasn't really paying attention when it came out, honestly. But I was like, this looks kind of interesting. And it was kind of interesting. All I have to say about it. Not great, not really awful either. I mean, especially for like a Netflix movie, it's not really that bad. I'd say check it out if you like coming of age, sort of more emotional movies. I don't think it really like innovates on the genre at all, but again, it's not really that bad. So then I watched Silver Linings Playbook, which is, oh god, I mean, it's just like not good. Like it's going for more of a heartfelt drama thing, but like Bradley Cooper's performance is like honestly all over the place. It's just like I don't really know how he's supposed to be like believable as like a person who you sympathize with. I don't know. It doesn't really work emotionally. It kind of works as like a comedy. It's like this is not how people act or talk or anything. I don't know. Weird. Thought that was bad. I watched Garden State. Just like God,
Hey, you
it's
don't
just
give
awful.
half stars.
I want to hear. I want to
often.
hear about this because, like, both Silver Lining Playbooks and Garden State aren't rated too poorly, and
Yeah, well, I don't.
I've seen you.
Yeah. I mean, Silver Linings Playbook is just like one of those things that it's like. I guess both of them are kind of like this, where it's like a person who grew up in like a very specific part of America. Like Silver Linings Playbook is like Mid-Atlantic, and then Garden State is like specifically like Garden State, obviously.
Yeah.
And I mean, Garden State specifically, like I just really like there's nothing to grasp onto. Zach Braff is like really bad. Natalie Portman is like fine but poorly written, and like it just looks awful. Like it's 2004. Like all of the worst like styles and cinematography of 2004. It just looks bad. It's like bad music. I don't know. It's like bad.
So let me ask. Was Zach Braff better in Garden State or Chicken Little?
No, probably Chicken Little, honestly.
Well,
Probably
there's a
Chicken
reason he won the Oscar for Chicken Little, so
You're right, yeah.
Oh my god. Awful.
yeah, I saw the start of your week and I was like, damn. Oh yeah, because your next one too.
Yeah, because I had been being like, I mean, Garden State was more specifically something that like I didn't think I was going to like at all. But then like Silver Linings Playbook and Dallas Buyers Club are like things that are rated kind of highly, but like people that I
those are
follow don't
critically
necessarily
acclaimed
love them.
films.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's like what I'm saying. But then like people
Yeah.
that I follow, including Collin for Dallas Buyers Club, like don't necessarily love them as much. So I just kind of like, I don't know, like at the beginning of the week, I was like, you know what? I'm in the mood for like watching shitty things. And then I just stopped watching 3 movies because it was not going well. So yeah, Dallas Buyers Club, honestly, like whatever, just forget
It's
it.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
forgettable.
I don't know. It doesn't really work for me though. And I watched She Dies Tomorrow, which is, I don't know, I enjoyed it. It's like a pretty nice indie movie from this year. I'd say check it out if you like more like mumblecore-y, shorter stuff. Not really a lot of plot, but you know, I was kind of expecting that. More of a horror movie than anything else, but it's not really that much of a horror movie, honestly. So, yeah, it plays more with psychological horror than anything else. Then I watched Pride and Prejudice for the first time, which is really good. I mean, it helps that I have read some of Pride and Prejudice. I actually didn't finish it for whatever reason, but like a while ago. So it wasn't like that fresh in my memory anyway. And like from what I remember, the movie focuses a lot more on the central romance than anything else, where there are like a lot of kind of extraneous or meandering plot lines that are cut, which I think really works in favor of the movie.
Did you cry?
I mean, huh?
Did you
You
cry?
cry, yeah.
I want to say no, but I might have like in the middle somewhere. I don't really remember. I definitely wasn't like sobbing.
I tried to forget about it. I didn't cry during Pride and Prejudice.
No, yeah, I don't know. Like I definitely didn't cry at the end because I would have remembered that. But it might have been like towards the end or yeah, like somewhere in the middle, like I said. I'm honestly trying to remember. I think I might. I don't know. Anyway, Midnight Special. You can tell I was just watching a lot of things on Netflix this week, honestly. Midnight Special is fine. I mean, it's like very. Actually, I meant to check this afterwards. It just feels very much like Lindelof-y in both good and bad ways, where it's like better at setting up mysteries than it is resolving them. And that's kind of the point. Like the ambiguity is supposed to like do something, and that never really fully works for me. But it doesn't really upset me either. So do with that what you will, I guess. Again, I thought it was fine. Probably would have been significantly worse if it weren't for like Michael Shannon and Kirsten Dunst, who were like good actors.
I didn't know Kirsten Dunst was in it.
Yeah, neither did I. And she has like a fairly minor role in it, but I mean, it's still like someone that you recognize, and she's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm looking at the cast. Wow. Adam Driver, Joel Edgerton.
oh yeah, forgot about Adam Driver because he's like also not like that minor, but yeah. Anyway, Joel Edgerton, yeah, I mean he's fine, I guess, but I don't really know him from anything, honestly, other than like the prequels. While We're Young, good if you like Baumbach, bad if you don't like Baumbach, honestly.
Good description.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Baumbach is just so specific that you definitely either like him or you don't.
Yeah. But I'd say for this movie especially so. Like if you don't like him, you are not going to like this movie. And even if you're like middling on him, like you honestly might not like this movie. It's very like...
It's very Baumbach.
Yeah, and it like very much highlights like his grievances against like the younger generation, whatever that means, in ways that like kind of work for me, but still like put me a little on edge. And I'd imagine it could do that for someone else too.
I saw a great meme the other day where someone was talking about thinking of ending things. And he was like recommending it to someone. I think it was literally like a scene from The Squid and the Whale that they edited. And this one guy like recommended I'm thinking of ending things and just said it's very Kaufman-esque.
Yeah,
It's funny.
It's Squid and the Whale 2006. I don't know, maybe. Watched The Life of the World to Come, the Mountain Goats concert movie, which is on YouTube. Honestly, do not watch it unless you are already a fan of the Mountain Goats, because you will not like it.
Never
It's not very showy.
Never heard of the Mountain Goats.
Yeah, neither of them.
Yeah, well, there you go. But it's like not very showy. I didn't actually look it up because there's not really a lot of information available, but it seems very much like between like Ryan Johnson and the Mountain Goats. Like they just kind of like emailed each other and were like, do you want to make a quick thing? And they were like, yeah. And then they like raised the money and everything themselves. Like it looks like it conceivably could have been made for like under $2,000. Like It's just very cheap. It's just like, 5 camera people and then 2 members of the Mountain Goats, and that's it. But I like the Mountain Goats, so that was fine. Well, pretty good, honestly. Rewatched Being John Malkovich, which I'm not really going to talk about because I feel like we've talked about Kaufman enough.
Yeah, there was a solid week where I think all 3 of us just watched Being John Malkovich unplanned.
Yeah.
Or I think it was like 2 weeks where it was split.
Maybe. I don't know. There was a good solid. There's been a lot of Kaufman throughout the.
Just like over the past month.
Yeah, it's mostly a lot of Kaufman because I'm like, Collin, just keep watching him. You'll like him eventually.
And I'm like, okay, sure, Thomas. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if I like these.
Yeah. But as I mentioned, I still like it. Watched An Education, which was nominated for Best Picture, which I guess I sort of knew before going in, but I kind of forgot about. I don't know. Like I wasn't watching it like with the intention of necessarily watching a Best Picture nominee or anything. But I liked it. Thought it was pretty good. Watched Killing Them Softly, which was also pretty good. I'm kind of running out of steam here. Roma.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Roma was also pretty good.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was pretty good. I don't know. I'm trying to remember like what my expectations were. I mean, because obviously, like...
Yeah, I'm assuming
it's
high.
Well, but I always like to take, like, things that are nominated for a lot of awards, like, with a grain of salt. Sure. It was also, like, rated pretty highly on, like, Letterboxd, IMDb, all that. So, it definitely wasn't going to be bad. I guess my main takeaway from that is, like, it is a little weird that it got, like, so... It feels kind of more like a nice movie, and like it's very small and centered, which like those certainly do get a lot of awards a lot of the times. I don't know, it's just weird that it is like so universally acclaimed to me. But I mean, I'm not really.
Me too. Yeah, you liked it more than I did.
I mean, Netflix really pushed for it though. Like Netflix released pillows that said like Roma for Best Picture.
And I mean, it is like obviously, well, I guess Collin disagrees, but I think it's very good for a Netflix movie. And I mean, I'm glad that it won Best Director because I think the direction is probably like the best thing about it. But I feel like Cuarón's direction is always pretty solid.
Yeah, I'd definitely say it's better than the average Netflix movie for sure. And it obviously was amazing. Yeah. I just couldn't get into the story very much.
And then I watched The Devil All the Time and American Animals.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's have a longer discussion for both of those.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Because we all watched Devil All the Time.
And they're both, one of them's like brand new. And yeah. I'll just go real quick since I only have 2 besides those 2.
Okay. Sure.
First of all, Safety Not Guaranteed. It sucks. It's really, really bad. Like, I don't even know how it was like a 3.3 on Letterboxd. Like,
no, me neither.
Because Aubrey Plaza and Mark Duplass are both actors that I really enjoyed, and I think both of them can like kind of really like tap into kind of like a much less serious and like a very almost like nihilistic sense. And in this movie, they're just like full blown just trying to act quirky, and it's so awful. I mean, the dialogue is awful. Like they don't know how to like pace their actors at all. It's just, oh my god, it's like line, immediate line, immediate line, immediate line, cutscene. The actual score, once again, oh my fucking god.
Yeah,
They're
it's
like,
definitely-
they're
oh my God.
stalking someone and there's like happy guitar music playing, like you're at a fucking wedding. Oh my
I feel
lord.
like I need to see this now.
And okay, and the worst
Maybe I'll
part
like
of
it.
it all, the worst part of it all is that this is actually a really, really good concept, right? When I first saw this was on Netflix, like I hadn't heard of it. Like this concept's like fucking great, and they murder it by trying to do some like quirky romance story, and they don't follow up on it at all.
No, but honestly, like I was definitely giving it the benefit of the doubt when I watched it, where like I thought there would be a more non-traditional ending or like third act, and it would be more like these people like can't form a romance because like they're too weird, but not in like a cutesy way, like in a genuinely like damaged kind of way.
Yeah.
I mean that's definitely me giving it the benefit of the doubt.
It wasn't interesting at all. Colin, take off your earbuds real quick, because I mean like it's a light spoiler.
Okay, sure.
Like, I want you to watch this. All right, pseudo spoiler for Safety Not Guaranteed ahead. I think it's kind of actually worth to watch it just because I think it's like laughably bad. But obviously, Letterboxd disagrees with me. But like one of the few ways I thought they could redeem it was when like you see the whole ear thing. I deadass thought he was an alien. That's how awkward I thought he was acting. Like, I was like, no, we have to do something interesting here. He's like an alien, and he's gonna like kill Aubrey Plaza.
And the way that it's shot is like, it's a very shocking moment, but you don't like even realize that it's shocking at first, and then you're like, wait, what was that? And then it's just like, oh
my god. And then there's no payoff. It's just like, I just didn't have ears. It's so bad. It is a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay. Well,
you can put him back on, Colin. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You know,
not good.
I just saw that it's also directed by Collin Trevorrow, who did The Book of Henry.
Well, it's also written by the guy who wrote Rise of Skywalker and Detective Pikachu. So when I looked at that,
he didn't actually. So the way that worked out was like he wrote Safety Not Guaranteed with like, and then Colin Trevorrow directed it. And then, of course, both of them were hired for episode 9.
Yeah.
So, like, Terrio didn't actually write 9 per se, but he's still credited as a writer just because, like, they ended up...
He was the guy who was hired for 9. I always forget who it was. Yeah, I mean, it's just bad. I think it's a good... I thought it was, like, god-awful. Last thing I'll say about it, Safety Not Guaranteed, more like enjoyment not guaranteed. God.
Whoa.
Then I watched Devil All the Time, which we'll get to, and then the new Amazon Prime original, Get Duked, which is like, it's kind of like a British hip hop Edgar Wright knockoff kind of, and it's not great. I mean, it's like a comedy, so I kind of just judge it off how many times I laughed. I didn't laugh that much at the jokes.
So it's more like a Guy Ritchie ripoff by the sound of it.
No. Oh.
I mean, if it's Edgar Wright hip hop bad, I don't know. Sounds like Guy Ritchie to me.
Yeah, I mean, you might like it. I'd say give it a shot. It's just comedy though, right? I don't think comedy is hard to really give a set review to, or like a set objective review, because it's so subjective of a medium. So
yeah,
I don't think there's much to say there.
I mean, Safety Not Guaranteed is not that funny. So.
I think that's different. There's different levels of bad there. Because that's trying to be serious. I won't like call that a pure comedy. You know, awkwardly enough, that film is most likely kind of just a rom-com.
Yeah.
Which sucks. That movie sucks. It's so bad. All right, that's enough. You guys give me like 5 more seconds. I'm just gonna rant about Safety Not Guaranteed again.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna take a break. Let Thomas take a breather, and we'll be back, and I'll do mine.
Okay, so the other thing about Safety Not Guaranteed.
Yeah, good job.
Nice, that was good timing. Great timing.
That was really good timing, yeah.
Okay, so here, it's my turn, like you guys were saying. All right, let's start off the week. In film school, we watched a movie called They Shoot Horses, Don't They? And I had never heard of this, so we watched it, and about midway through the movie, I was like, I'm going to have to rewatch this. Because it was good, but it was different. It's a really different movie. and I don't really know how to explain it. The concept's pretty interesting. It takes place during the Depression, and these people, they used to have these things called dance marathons, where people would sign up and just dance marathon for hours upon end. They would get like sponsors from the rich who would sit in the stands, and it's kind of like a more realistic and version of the Hunger Games without the violence.
Huh.
If you know what I'm saying. Because like, I mean, they would literally, so the rules were every 2 hours, you get a 10-minute break. And you get that 10-minute break to like sleep or eat or whatever, you know? And like in the movie, this particular dance marathon went on for over 1,000 hours. So these people were like literally sleep deprived, dying, you know, essentially.
Wait,
people would like...
Isn't that not possible? Don't you die at a certain point without that much
It's
sleep?
like 48 days or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you can go 48 days? I thought it was a much lower number.
No, I was saying 1,000 hours. It's probably closer to 40.
Well, I mean, you have that 10-minute break to sleep
42.
for 2 hours. So I mean, that
Well,
doesn't
that's not enough to like get through the REM cycle, though.
Sure, yeah, exactly. But still, I mean, so it may be exaggerated in this case. I don't know. Either way, it was a pretty interesting film. I think it lacked a bit in the character department, but the overall story was pretty interesting, and the ending was so downer. It was such a downer ending. I was like, wow, I need to rewatch that.
Yeah, like that concept's cool, but the main thing I'm interested in is just where that title comes from. It's a really cool title to just like put next to that concept.
Well, it's a line he says in the
until
movie.
you hear my pick for this week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a line he says in the movie, and it makes sense in context. But I was wondering, like...
Well, I'm sure it's like about rich people and like hunting or something. And like... No? Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah,
I'll have to watch it.
I definitely want to... Yeah, I definitely want to watch it again. But after that, which I didn't really watch a lot this week, I definitely didn't have a slow Sebastian week, as you would say. I didn't want it.
Yeah.
But I got caught up with schoolwork. But I was able to continue my DC animated movie marathon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah!
I know you guys look forward to this every week when I talk about like that one movie that hopefully I'll get through this whole thing. Son of Batman. And I mean, you could probably guess it wasn't that good, but it actually had a good story to it. I like the story. I like the characters in it. Although the portrayal of certain characters weren't that good. Mainly, Robin, Damian Wayne in this movie was like unbearably annoying at times. He obviously got better as like the plot progressed, but through at least half of it, you were like, ugh, kill.
Wait, so Robin's bad, and it's a movie called Son of Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Right. Yeah, it's about him essentially. I mean, he's the main driving force of the plot, and the actor's not bad. It's just like his character is so annoyingly written. And then the other thing that really bothered me, this honestly like bothered me the most out of the movie, was so he's like 10 years old, right? And he's been trained by Ra's al Ghul in the League of Assassins, but he's 10. But he's 10, and he's like beating up Deathstroke and Batman and Nightwing, and I don't know. I was like, come on, okay.
Yeah,
if he was like 16 or 17, sure, I guess I could buy it. But he's 10 years old, and you're telling me.
Yeah, I guess it's just like the idea of like the elevated world for like comics.
Sure.
I mean, that's
I mean, you have animation on its side too. Yeah. But still, I mean, I don't know.
Oh my god, imagine that live action. Imagine that live action with just a 10-year-old doing that.
that would be pretty bad. But yeah, Son of Batman, not very good. Then I watch The Devil All the Time, which we'll get to in a little bit. I rewatched Bart Layton's first film, The Imposter, which is a really captivating, compelling, true story that has some crazy twists and turns. I definitely recommend it if you guys liked American Animals. It's really good. I prefer American Animals, but Imposter is actually really good as well. And then I rewatched American Animals, which we'll get to here in a little bit. And today I rewatched Tenet for the third time. And without saying too much, because we've already talked about Tenet a lot.
Oh my god.
It's still, editing-wise, it's messy. That's probably like the biggest issue for me. And also certain plot details are messy script wise as well. But I got a lot more out of this movie the third time too. And it's actually surprising me how like I'm going to go see it again probably. And I'm hoping like it just improves on and on and on. But yeah, it's still a good movie. I pretty much have the same opinion as before. I don't think it's Nolan's best, but it's good. And so I guess that'll bring us on to Devil All the Time, the latest Netflix original film that came out just yesterday.
Yeah.
Who wants to?
Yeah, I'll start since I guess I'm the one that liked it the most out of the three of us. But yeah, I thought it was really good. At first, I was really stressed because this is really just 3 Europeans and an Australian do Southern accents for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
There were like 5 Australians in the movie, Thomas.
No, I was just thinking about what's her name? Yeah, okay. There's a lot of non-American, non-Southern. Yes. Elisa Scanlon.
Let's see. Jason Clarke is Australian. Who was the husband that, spoilers, killed people. There definitely was someone else that was Australian.
No, there definitely are. I agree, right?
Oh, Mia Wasikowska. Right.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of non-American, non-Southern people, and like, I didn't expect accents to work, but I don't think that was that big of an issue. But it's just really dark, brooding, kind of black and white film that was just kind of got me, and just like watching all the characters, it wasn't nice. It definitely is not the kind of thing that puts a smile on your face. Yeah. When do you guys start talking about stuff? Because I don't.
I just want to rewatch Serious Man. Oh my god, it's such a good movie. I do actually want to rewatch it, but I have to wait.
I found it interesting. You said it was kind of a ripoff of a Coen Brothers movie. I didn't really see that. So, was it just because of the lots of characters?
Yeah, neither did I.
I just kind of, and it helps if you've seen I think it's especially similar to Blood Simple, and I feel like maybe there was one other one that I was thinking of. But it's just kind of like the Coens play around with fate in a lot of ways.
Okay.
And they have a bunch of characters, and bad things happen to some characters and good things happen to some characters, and that's a very generic way to put it. But it just kind of feels like, at the beginning of the movie, these players are all spread out, and then closely they all they come closer together over the course of the movie.
Yeah.
And then bad things start happening because of that. And that's very even the one that we watched for, this podcast, Inside Llewyn Davis, it's similar-ish in a way, in the way that it kind of plays with fate and destiny and all that.
I see what you're saying.
Without being overly religious or anything. But
doing your face about the themes.
Inside Llewyn Davis just always follows Llewyn Davis, though. This really bounced around the characters.
That's why I'm saying it's not that similar.
Okay.
Llewyn Davis specifically.
Mm-hmm. And I guess I can't really think of a Coen Brothers movie that bounces around, but
No, I don't think any of them really do.
Hail Caesar does?
Yeah,
I just know it has a lot of characters.
Oh, I guess Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I haven't seen it, but
they don't.
That's a different. Yeah, those are separate stories.
That's more anthology based, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is anthology.
I haven't seen it.
It's good.
So. Yeah, I'm just saying it is anthology.
Yeah. All right.
I just thought the movie was kind of boring.
Yeah.
I liked the beginning, the setup, but then after a while, I was like, okay, where's this going? I didn't mind the bouncing around of a lot of characters because I knew from the beginning, okay, we're being introduced to these people because it's all going to come together by the end. And I did really like the finale. I thought the finale was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know, everything in between, especially that middle portion, I just couldn't get into it. It felt like there was a lot missing thematically for me to latch onto.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I
think this... Okay, I'm going to go first. I think this kind of... just kind of my general feelings. I don't know. It feels very forced in a way, the conclusion. Even though it's coming, it's just kind of there are these characters, and then bad things happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I
wasn't
think I see what
really
you're saying.
that interested until the finale. And
right.
With a few exceptions, I think Keogh's character is pretty interesting, and so is Pattinson's. And Helen's fine, honestly. But I wasn't that interested in him. But yeah,
Yeah, I was
I don't know.
actually more
It kind of
interested
feels
in
like
his
right.
side of the story than like Riley Keough's and Jason Clark's. I felt like they're kind of the
fillerish.
Well, fillerish, but like I don't know. I was just uninterested whenever it went to them. And then tying it into Sebastian Stan's character too, I felt like his was the most undeveloped out of everyone.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I would definitely say that's also my biggest issue with it, is that it just bounces around too much to the point where it's like there's a bunch of characters there that aren't very fully developed.
Yeah.
My issue is more that they're not developed, not necessarily that it bounces around in general.
Yeah.
Neither. I didn't mind the structure. I thought it worked quite well.
Which honestly, I wouldn't mind like if this was longer. But if you guys found it boring, then
I mean,
I could see it being like a mini series.
That would be actually really cool.
I feel like it did not utilize its length well. It's like
right. Yeah.
And I
would agree with that.
Yeah, I totally agree with
you. I'm just it's definitely in your face with the themes. I think one of you guys mentioned that earlier, but I just love how like thematically strong it is with the just like the whole idea of like faith and how that belief and how those that like strongly believe can also always like very often being led down the wrong path and all of that. And it's just what am I looking for here? Unrelenting in a sense. And like I said, it's just very black and white, right? Like they believe they're led down the wrong and then they die. There's like not really much else to it. And I think it works here. And Collin, you mentioned in your review, but I usually hate narration in films, right? Yeah. I usually I hear it, I'm just like, ugh, but it really worked for me here. I thought the narrator was great. Yeah.
I wouldn't say great, but it didn't bother me.
What else?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you're the one who liked it. So.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was kind of boring. There were lots of strands that went undeveloped, and I felt like it, especially in that middle section, it just lacked a bit of dramatic oomph to get me to care by the end. I liked the ending, but it just, I like I said, I couldn't really latch on to anything.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just guess it didn't bother me. I guess I just I was just with the characters.
I mean,
like
it didn't really
definitely weren't that many extra stakes in the middle. Yeah, but like, isn't that also one of the reasons that you kind of got interested by the end?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it never really like worked for me, but it never like fully verged into the point of like, oh, like I hate this or anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
I feel like
most of the time.
One of the other things I want to know. I was kind of always on the side of like I was really worried, or not worried, but I was like skeptical on where Tom Holland's career was going to go from Spider-Man, because like that was just one of those roles where it's so easy to kind of be forced into that viewpoint. And I didn't think that like I thought Tom Holland was one of the reasons I wasn't going to like this film as much. But he did a really good job, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what he does next. Like, you definitely can tap into a more dark and brooding sense.
Yeah, I don't know if he's like lead worthy.
Sure.
I don't see him as like a leading actor, but he's actually done some decent work supporting roles, like Current War. He was in the Current War I saw last year. He's been in some other stuff I've seen. I just can't really remember off the top of my head right now.
Lost City of Zed, which I don't think you like.
No, that one was pretty good.
Oh.
I gave it 3.5.
I don't know why I thought that then.
He's a voice on a phone call in Locke.
Oh yeah, he was in The Impossible with McGregor and Naomi Watts.
Yes, we're getting there.
Okay.
Oh, never forget he's in Doolittle, the best film of the best film of this year.
Yeah. I never saw it.
Yeah, neither did I. I guess last thing I'll mention for Devil All the Time is that this has to be the coolest poster of the year, though. Like that poster, at the very least. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I think it's a cool poster, but I mean, nothing.
I'm thinking of ending things is pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, I think those are probably like top 2. All right, guys, quick top three posters for the year so far.
Oh my
Palm Springs
God.
is probably up there.
Honestly, I think
Impractical
Palm
Jokers
Springs might be
movie.
my number one.
Yes, sir.
Palm Springs is pretty good. That is a good poster.
Those.
So is The Five Bloods, but I don't know that I'd put that top 5.
Oh, The Five Bloods is a really good poster too.
Honestly,
I forgot
Fantasy
Tiger King
Island
was this
has
year.
Fantasy Island has a cool poster, guys. Even though that was a horrible movie, Fantasy Island has a cool poster.
I'm like looking through 2020.
Yeah.
You didn't see Fantasy Island with us, right, Thomas?
No, I was not there.
yeah, you lucky you.
I'm lucky.
Wait, actually, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to see how bad.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that the people in the theater with you guys were not happy.
Oh, they got so mad at us because we were laughing the entire time. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
But anyway,
top posters would probably be like Palm Springs. I'm thinking of ending things and Devil All the Time. I don't know, man. Something with the Devil All the Time poster just gets me.
It's a pretty good poster. I don't disagree.
Right?
okay.
Yeah. Do you want to just give this one a review?
Sure. I mean, I gave it a 5 out of 10.
And I gave it a 5, and Thomas gave it an 8, which makes the average a 6 out of 10.
And Sebastian gave it an 8 too.
Amazing.
Yeah, we didn't count Sebastian's 8.
We don't even count it today, is that what you said?
No, I said we can count that.
Oh,
I
okay.
get a 6.5, wouldn't it?
Something like
I'm
that.
gonna go with yeah.
Yeah, let's go with yeah. And so that leads us to our feature discussion for today. American Animals, which was my pick, 2018 docu-drama directed by Bart Layton, based on a true story of some college kids who try to steal an art exhibit from their school. And this was the first time I saw it since seeing it in 2018. And I still really enjoy it. I think it's got a unique style, really interesting framing. I like the way Layton directs it. I think the performances are solid. Like the energy it has. The soundtrack's good. Tones. It's got some funny moments. It's got some sad moments. It's got some really dark, depressing moments near the end, and you're like, dang. But I think it's a really fun movie. I mean, yeah.
I would call it fun.
Yeah.
Per se.
I think honestly that is kind of my main issue with it, which I still like this movie like quite a bit.
Wait,
But I
what did
think
you say
my
was your main
main
issue?
It just doesn't really get that fun ever, and it never really like has a reason for being so sad other than just to be like, these guys didn't pull off a heist well, which is kind of like the reason for every heist.
Well, I think it's more so sad because it being as the as you know, a title says, this film is not based on a true story. This film is a true story because it really just is that. It's sad because those people like messed up, did wrong, like didn't know what they were doing, and like
and they realize it now. They regret.
And like you see those people, you get to like connect and interact with them, and that was incredibly interesting. So, well, I was gonna ask this while you're talking about Imposter, but you kind of glanced over it, so I decided to wait. So, Imposter is basically the same thing, where it's like a documentary
Imposter is definitely more documentary centric than American Animals is, but it does have the reenacted scenes as well. It's just not the main focus. American Animals is much more the reenactment, Hollywood like scenes, where Imposter is much more of a documentary.
Yeah, I would say like my only really big issue with this film was that just the first hour didn't get me until like the heist actually started. Like I just don't really enjoy the planning part of it. That's also, I mean, I'm not very much into the heist films in general, right? Because I guess just like that fun section, like I don't really like the Ocean's 11. I've seen 12 or 13. But man, the heist in this film was fucking tense.
It is tense.
Oh my god!
Definitely the best part of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Like I wasn't enjoying it, but just the way like the score for it is like mind-bogglingly good. It like edge of my fucking seat.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in theaters. I saw it with my roommate, and we were both like, "Holy crap!" Well, first of all, we just thought it was going to be a regular movie, right? And then when it introduced the documentary aspects, I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is unique. And then as it switched back and forth between those and showed the subjectivity of perspective and all, which I thought was really interesting. I liked how they said like one of the characters would be like, "Oh, I remember it this way." And
Yeah,
play it like that, and then, "Oh, well, no, I remember it this way." And then
it was a man with a blue scarf and a man bun, or was it a purple scarf? No,
Yeah.
it was
an older
really
guy.
Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And I think that really went to show the actual, like, the real people's mindsets going into it too, and it translated well. But yeah, the heist, really tense. When I was watching it again, I will kind of agree, it didn't, like, first hour is a little slower than I remembered it being, but it's still, I thought it was still really well paced. But that heist is pretty amazing, and it's just like, it's so, for me at least, I was like, oh man, I felt bad, like, that it was just going so wrong, which I think is cool, because on the other hand, you really don't want them to, like, get away with stealing that, like, historical art and the books and all, but you're, like, kind of rooting for them at the same time, but then it's not going to go well. So I think that's what makes the movie really cool, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because they're not really good guys here, but I really like, I guess it would be like that theme of how you're kind of just, like, meandering through life, and that you need, like, those, like, really big moments, right? Yeah. Where you, like, need to have that moment that kind of just defines you. Oh man, I love the fact that the guy paints birds now. That was such like a cool extra touch. I know it technically wouldn't be like what the filmmaker added. That's just literally what he does in his life, but that, like, really was his moment, and it's cool.
I particularly like that shot where they have the real Spencer going out to his driveway, picking up the newspaper, and then the reenacted scene of them driving by, him looking at what they did, in the past, and realizing, well, I really shouldn't have done that. It's also crazy to think, and he mentions this throughout the movie, how many times he could have backed out so easily and just said, but they kept going. I think it's just a wild, true story. It's like, I couldn't believe, the whole time you're thinking, what are you doing, you idiots? But at the same time, it's so fascinating.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty damn good. Jesus, keep saying
yeah.
I'm like Sebastian with John Goodman. So John Goodman was in 4 different movies at once, and I was just like, I'm gonna go see John Goodman movies, and then John Goodman was really one of the. I love you, Sebastian, if you watch this. Oh my god, I almost said yeah. Shit, I said yeah. Yeah.
Every time you say yeah, from now on, you have to hit yourself.
Point out that you said yeah, and you have to say
yeah.
It's a never-ending loop of yeahs.
But I didn't kind of expect the documentary style to work for me. It kind of didn't at first, like the cutting back and forth. But just it really picked up, like, even in the mid-half when I wasn't enjoying it that much. But when it's talking about how they realizing, like, watch the characters' realizations with the, like, real persons talking about, like, the hindsight of it itself, great.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, the first time I saw it, I was like, well, because I didn't even know it was going to have documentary segments, it kind of threw me for a loop. And then I was like, wait, is this working for me? But then, like, when you watch it again, I think it adds a lot. And now that you know it's, you're expecting it, it works a lot. There are still a few shots, like, when they do use, like, there's one shot where they have Evan Peters and the real Warren in the car, and he's kind of acting. And I was like, okay, well, that didn't necessarily work for me, because I feel like by having the real people act a bit kind of takes away from the objectivity of a documentary. But then again, that shot where the real Spencer's in the driveway, I thought really worked. So it was just a few creative choices that didn't work for me, but overall, I think it's a.
And just, like, I think most of all, it's just a really interesting approach to filmmaking, and like it's unique. It's really unique.
Yeah, and it's kind of surprising. The director's only done 2 movies. This and The Imposter.
Yeah. It's definitely well made.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure
it's got a nice style
though, which kind of sucks.
Well, yeah, I think we talked about before about Movie Pass.
Yeah, its budget was only 3.5 million.
Oh, we totally talked about this, or at least I looked it up. That might have been it.
Oh, it literally made its budget back. It made 3.5 million. So as long as it didn't, Oh no, that's its oh, it didn't release its budget.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
That's
I wouldn't
usually-
expect it to be a big budget or anything.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's a cool poster though.
Yeah,
Not the
pick cool
not the
posters.
well, not this one. This imposter. I've been playing too much Among Us. If I know you guys probably haven't, but if any of the viewers, this poster like on Letterboxd is cool, but there was one specifically that I just looked in and saw that was pretty sick. Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else have anything specific to add?
Did you have
not
anything
really.
else to say, Noah?
I mean, I feel like the only things I have to say are just kind of like the things that you've already said, but they worked slightly less well for me, but like they still worked
Sure.
for me. I think the only thing is like, I think I would have liked the documentary style to be applied to like a slightly more interesting story, or like a slightly more elaborate heist, maybe is a better way of putting it, because there isn't really a lot that happens in this movie, which is totally fine. But there are only really a few moments where like sort of the subjectivity is really like highlighted. Which I
Okay.
think is fine. It just doesn't really work for me quite as it does for you guys, but
Okay. Yeah.
still works. Still liked it.
Yeah. You might like the imposter better because that one doesn't play with subjectivity as much, but I would argue that the craziness of the true story in the imposter is even more wild than it is for American Animals. I just think American Animals is the better movie. Check it out. It's on Tubi for free.
Oh, cool.
So
Wait, I got one more thing.
okay, go ahead.
Safety not guaranteed is atrocious. All right. We can get to rating.
All right, so American Animals for me, rewatch. It's still a 9 out of 10. I really enjoy this movie. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'm solid 8 out of 10. It was much, much lower until the actual heist started, but I thought that really picked it up.
I would say 7 out of 10, just because it doesn't really have any innovations other than the documentary style. But, you know, like I've been saying, still works.
Yeah. All right, so that's
Yeah,
an 8 out of 10.
That's a highly
I
rated
think
one.
that is the highest, definitely the highest by far that we've had since this score in the Post Pro podcast. Go
Yeah,
on.
I think the highest, just in general, would have been Donnie Darko.
Yeah, probably.
Mm.
Watch, then we'll see what Sebastian gives it. He absolutely hates it. Gives it like a 1.
Looper would have been high too, right? Oh, you're 3.5. Looper would have definitely been lower.
3.5, 4 around that.
Yeah,
All of them
Sebastian are
positive.
4s, you 2 are 3.5. So that's still high. That would be a 7.75.
Yeah.
Or I guess 7.5 since we're doing out of 10 for here.
Under the Silver Lake might be high too. I mean, even though
No, because Sebastian hated it.
he gave it a 5 out of 10.
Oh.
Still not great.
Then you two were 9s and I was an 8. So
That was the episode that Noah joined us for the first time.
Damn.
Yeah. I shot you a text because I saw you watched it, and I was like, hey, Noah, why not?
So weird.
Speaking of Noah, and since Sebastian isn't here, it looks like we're going to be getting to Noah's pick for the week.
Right. Actually, hold on. Let me just check really quickly. I did check that it's available to rent. So good news. But I just wanted to see if it's available on anything else really quickly. I'm going to pick it regardless.
While you're doing that, I'm going to say to the viewers, comment your favorite movie poster down in below.
Yeah. And make sure to
2020.
like and subscribe.
Hit that
And
smash
don't
that
miss,
like button.
yeah. Make sure you don't miss any new episodes of the Post Pro podcast, also known as the PP podcast.
God dang it, I hate it.
Make sure to recommend it to your friends. Hashtag PP gang.
No, we're
Alright.
not. We're not doing that. no PP game.
So, unfortunately,
I'm commenting that immediately when you post this episode.
it does look like this is only available to rent. But fortunately, it looks interesting to me, and that is why I am picking it. So, spoilers for major American historical events of the past 2 centuries, but my pick for next week is The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Oh, cool.
I almost said Robert Redford.
Robert Redford, a classic cowboy.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while. Yeah, I've actually wanted. That's been on my watch list for a while now.
It's been on my watch list for a while. Yeah, and I watched Killing Them Softly, which was directed by the same guy this past week, and I said I liked it. So I'm like, might as well just pick it. So,
yeah, I've been interested to watch this.
Andrew Dominic.
I've always heard that's like one of the best looking movies of the 20th century. So, or
21st.
21st. Don't mind me. I'm just thinking of Fox. Okay.
All right. Well,
this guy really likes it.
Who?
He said Deacon's best work. Yeah, I've just heard the cinematography is just Deacon's cinematographer.
Cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess that's it. So bye everyone.
Yeah. Catch us next week on the Post Pro podcast when we review The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Redford. All right. Bye, guys.
Peace.